Um, yeah, hi everyone. Before we start, I want to ask a very important question. How many people holds Bitcoin today in this room? Like some amount of Bitcoin? Okay, more than what I expected. That's cool. We are not all ETH maxis. That's cool. How many people use Bitcoin on the Bitcoin L1 itself? Okay, the number is much less, which is very normal to be honest. And yeah, we try to do fun things on Bitcoin. I hope this talk will be interesting for you. Before we start, I want to give some background on myself. My name is Talip. I'm a DevRel engineer at Citrea. It's a roll-up on Bitcoin that I will talk about a bit today in terms of also with the other constructions too. This is going to be a rather fast presentation. So, if you have any questions in mind even after Q&A, just find me and then we can talk about it. And most of the things are also my personal opinions, which I find very true, but you may disagree with me. It's a very personal presentation, to be honest, apart from the technical facts. Today we will first start with the state of Ethereum, because this is ETH Belgrade, kind of a good baseline to set what we're doing and what's possible today. And then we will go over the state of Bitcoin, which is very interesting and frustrating. And then we will go over what's today possible and, what's going to be possible with what we're building and what the other cool people are building too. And at the end, I will have some angry takes about, what's going on. Overall, the whole presentation is a bit angry too, so be prepared for it. So to start with, I have a very important distinction. Rollups are not the same things as bridges. Rollups are blockchains, essentially, but bridges are bridges. And a rollup itself can function without a bridge too. This is a very common misconception in the ETH world, so just to let you know. On Ethereum scaling today, so we built a bunch of stuff on Ethereum today. It's the world of DeFi, essentially. L1 is doing good, and gas prices are kind of reasonable. And, it's like, essentially, rollups are doing fine. There's also ideas towards L1 scaling. Sidechains are not naming themselves L2s anymore. And it's at the end of the day, it's money. You can use it as money, whether compared to, when you check all the existing L2 solutions, they're also enabling you to use them as money. And they have a bunch of TVL on them. People are using them. Everything is good. We enjoy life. Even though, in terms of the security assumptions, I think we have some problems. I would expect this kind of moves on its own, by the way, just to double check. I would expect this table and this pizza diagram to be better. Maybe it's because hard to do. Maybe it's some skill issues. Maybe people don't want to really improve the security of the systems we have today. But anyways, overall, Ethereum itself is doing fine, and everything is working nicely. So I guess we can give a thumbs up on it. So now we said Ethereum is good, but what about Bitcoin then? So it depends on how you define Bitcoin, right? So if you define Bitcoin as a gold to buy and hold, then you're doing great because the price is 100K, no one is richer than you and life is good. But if you believe that it's the best asset in the world with arguably the most, the securest asset in the world with most decentralization and most nostalgia even, I don't know how you want to name it, then Bitcoin itself may not be doing very well. If you want to think about it as the combination of these two, then, you're in maybe a better shape. And if you just want to, buy some ETFs, paper BTC, then you're in a good shape, but I definitely disagree with you. I don't think it is the future that you want it to be. So assuming peer-to-peer cash idea and the money idea makes sense, then we have some problems so this is the picture of Bitcoin mempool, and this is from the times where it's cheap. I think today is also cheap, but if Bitcoin starts to get used, then you get enormous fees, and everything starts to kind of shittier, unfortunately. The fees increase, the chain becomes unusable, Bitcoin maxis get angry. On Twitter, they yell at you, and all the fights happen. So it's kind of like, if you try to use Bitcoin other than holding today, for most of the times, you may get frustrated if you try to do it at the same time with all the people too. And if you try to do more with your Bitcoin, like in Ethereum world, we have a bunch of stuff. We have lending borrowing platforms on Ethereum, and we have vaults on Ethereum world with the EVMs on the L2s. We have privacy with Tornado Cash, Railgun, and all the other stuff. If you want to buy and sell Bitcoin even, you need a custodian. And this is, I really find this really ironic, because this whole system was built to get around of custodians, get around of people who can control your money, get around of you spending it. And now it's not practical to use for these senses. Now, to do any kind of these in the list, you need a custodian, like you use, I don't know, Coinbase or stuff like that. I don't think this was the intended purpose. I think this should be changed. And there's actually many people thinking like me too, so I'm not alone on this. In this alone, you may believe again, you should just buy and hold maybe. This is your opinion. But to my opinion, I think I should be able to do all of these in the best asset in the world, and I think it's Bitcoin. Even not only these, but also the Bitcoin execution environment itself. Like the code on the right is Bitcoin script, and the code on this side, to me left, is from the smart contract of, I think, Uniswap or something. So as you can see the difference. I mean, the code on the right, the code on the left, the Ethereum code also gets compiled into SMD, but still, the language is very primitive on Bitcoin scripting, and the stack, which is the execution environment limits of Bitcoin script, is also very, very limited. The number of operations you can do, the things you can do are very, very limited. And again, if you still try to do things, then this is the things that you see on your mempool explorer. Like, it just becomes unusable, kind of. So yeah, what do? Then are you just getting angry and then do nothing? Of course not. After flipping the table, you go and try to do things, right? And people also had some ideas, and they started to work on it. One particular idea is changing the L1 itself. Well, there is a dilemma on this, because not everyone agrees with you. I believe that Bitcoin L1 should change. There should be improvements, but not everyone thinks like me. Some Bitcoin core dev says, no, Bitcoin is perfect, or it should be even smaller block sizes and stuff like that. Some people say it looks terrible, and then some people say, no, this is the beauty of it. It is perfect. And then there's also a bunch of researchers that agrees with me that it sucks. But at the end of the day, everyone has a different opinion. And not everyone thinks about scaling it, okay? So yeah, you're just stuck on that. You cannot change Bitcoin L1. The latest upgrade was 4 years ago, even. So it takes years to do things. So yeah, because of this, people tried things. People tried sidechains, which, if you check bitcoinlayers.org, which is a great website, you can check their security assumptions. But the problem with sidechains is, some of them are very shady. I am not going to name names here due to respect to all the industry, but I hope that some of the companies here essentially die because they lie on whatever they do all the time. But there are credible names as well. But at the end of the day, they're sidechains. So it's like you have a different security assumption, you have a different bridge security assumption as well, other than the chain. So it kind of works to some degree. People try to do payment challenge. How many people here heard about Lightning Network? Okay, yeah, so people tried Lightning, people tried alternative constructions. It's great that they're trustless, you can exit the system whenever you want, which is, I think, really underestimated property. But then on the other hand, it works most of the times, but it doesn't work when you sometimes need it. Or if the amounts increase, it doesn't work. There are a bunch of problems with Lightning, even though people disagree. I don't think it's extremely great shape, let's say. And then people also tried a bunch of stuff, but at the end of the day, it didn't work. So, Ethereum has a bunch of rollups. Can you have rollups on Bitcoin too? This is the idea, and this is the title of the presentation too. So what is a rollup then? Let's go with an optimistic rollup. How many people here knows what rollup is? Okay. So rollups are the blockchains that publishes its data on another blockchain. That means the other blockchain, as long as the other blockchain is alive and functioning, then your data is secure and always accessible. It never gets lost, even when people plug off their computers or stuff like that. Whole idea is securing a blockchain with another blockchain. So there's this one construction called optimistic rollup, where you publish all of your transaction data into another blockchain, and then as long as that blockchain is alive, then everything is secure. But the problem is you cannot do this on Bitcoin, because you have a bunch of problems. The blocks of Bitcoin are 4 megabytes, and if you try to post more, or if you even try to come near to it, like a couple of hundreds of kilobytes, then the amount of fees you pay becomes catastrophic. Like you will end up paying, I don't know, thousands of dollars probably. And even if you do this, one property that I'm going to mention is some constructions have the ability to challenges towards malicious people, and you don't have these if you try to do it on Bitcoin. So it's kind of like you cannot do the Ethereumistic optimistic rollup construction on Bitcoin. It doesn't work. So what else you can do? Like you need to do something better, and the other idea is called ZK rollups, which uses zero-knowledge proofs. It's like you have a bunch of transactions on your chain, and then you batch them together, and then you prove them that they're right. It's like a magic box. And then you also post all this data into the Bitcoin. So as long as Bitcoin is secure and as long as Bitcoin is functional, then all the data will remain there, and it's always accessible and usable. And the trade-off here is because you post a lot of data and because you need to prove it as well, you kind of sacrifice your speed. But it's more secure because as long as Bitcoin is alive and functional, which I believe it will happen maybe forever, I don't know, at least until I die, you will have it. And then you post it in the state-diff form, which is if you have Merkle trees, you publish the differences of it. And as long as these Merkle tree differences are there, everything is secure. Is there any other clicker? This moves automatically. Yes or no? OK, I will try my best. Like ZK rollups today on Ethereum, they're live, they're functional, and everything is good. With this ideal construction, you can have a ZK rollup now. And actually, we did this one. So it's called Citrea, obviously. It's live on a Bitcoin testnet 4 today. And it's actually much more practical. And actually, this is kind of the diagram that I want to show. The whole point is, as long as Bitcoin is alive, the data that gets posted in the system will be always there. And you can always run your own node to verify things. So this is a really cool construction because compared to sidechains, if your full nodes die or if something happens, in sidechains you cannot get this property of being always able to sync and kind of use your social consensus force to do things. But on rollups, you inherit the full security of it. So this is, on theory, very good. Like, right, you have this rollup, everything is functioning, but we have a problem, actually. And again, this is the construction of sidechains and rollups. So on the sidechains, you only have the hash. On rollups, you have the full data of the chain. And if something goes wrong on the sidechains, then you panic, and it's kind of like you kind of maybe screwed. On rollups, you have this opportunity to always be able to check things and then verify on your own. They're a better construction. And this is also another website we made. It's called citreaDAusage.com. It's the amount of transaction data that we post on Bitcoin. You can check it out. Like we also publish the transactions themselves too. And why do we do this is also another question. One reason is there's a demand for it. And also we need to do the analysis of it too. But at the end of the day, there is a demand for it because the current Bitcoin on the existing chains are not secure enough. If you try to use Bitcoin on Ethereum today, what you do is go to a custodian and use it, which is a 3 of 5 multisig or something. So you trust 3 people out of 5 to not to steal your money. And this is kind of a challenge. And all these rollups also helps Bitcoin budget itself too, because today Bitcoin fees are low and miners of Bitcoin are also kind of struggling with the budget too. So it's kind of like we need to help it. And we help it by posting these huge bombs into Bitcoin, and we pay a lot of money for it too. So it's kind of like we help miners. We help Bitcoin to be more sustainable as well. And but the thing is, so we're one rollup. If you get one more rollup and then another rollup, if you have 3 rollups live at the same time on Bitcoin, then this is the kind of mempool space you get. Per transaction, you pay, I don't know, $25, $50, maybe $100. So it's going to be some fun times once everything goes to mainnet. We're live on testnet now, by the way. This was kind of the reaction. I sometimes talk with some core developers of Bitcoin and then say, like, we're doing this, and this is what's happening. And then, everyone is shocked, but it will be okay. We will have some fun times. We're bringing some new construction. I did this announcement of rollup is not the bridge, right? And then the question is, what is average on one end? And also, how do you move your Bitcoin? So a common problem is, if you hold Bitcoin on Bitcoin, it's just on Bitcoin. If you hold Ethereum, for example, on Ethereum, it's just on Ethereum. But if I want to move my money into a blockchain, into another one, if I want to move an equivalent Bitcoin asset, if I want to have a Bitcoin equivalent asset on Ethereum, how am I going to do this, right? If I have Bitcoin on Bitcoin L1, how am I going to move my money into this construction called Citrea, and how am I going to use it? And today's ways, what you do is you give your money to, I don't know, like 5 people, and then the construction is you trust 3 people to not steal, or you give your money to Coinbase, which is, I don't know, I don't really trust them, and or like overall the whole constructions today we have is kind of honest majority assumptions. You give the money to an honest majority, and then you hope that everything goes right, which for now goes right, but we see also the hacks. Like in a 2 of 3 multisig, got hacked actually, with the Bybit hacked, and then we got $1.5 billion stolen. So this is a big problem. We need better constructions than trusting some people, or majority of people. So what are the solutions then? So the ZK idea is mostly used on Ethereum world today. Oops, you got a nice spoiler. The ZK idea is used nicely on Ethereum world today to do bridges. But the problem is you cannot do them on Bitcoin very easily because the Bitcoin itself is kind of problematic. And today some people claim that they have made these ZK trustless bridges. Trustless means you can exit whenever you want type of bridges. If someone tells you they do a trustless bridge on Bitcoin, you can now finally show them this image because they're a bunch of clowns. On theory, you cannot do trustless bridges between Bitcoin and the other assets. This is crucially important. This is what hurts the image of the industry today, actually. So it's kind of important for me. That's why I mention it twice. Again, you cannot do trustless bridges between Bitcoin and other chains today. But there are other things you can do. So even if you cannot do true ZK verification bridges on Bitcoin script today, you can still do some alternative constructions, even in this environment. Like this is the code to multiply a number by 256 on Bitcoin, which is a very horrendous way to do it. It's clever, but horrendous. And then this is some bunch of mathematical stuff with ZK for you to do it as well. So it's kind of like you need very interesting workarounds to do things, but still you can do things. And one of the things that you can also do is optimistically verifying ZK proofs. It's a bit tough to explain, but I will try to do my best. The way to do it is the ZK proofs are kind of magical numbers. It's like your, you can think of them as keys. And then you can build one of m bridges with these ZK bridges. It's like you only need 1 out of m people to be honest, whereas on the other chains or on the other systems, you need 3 of 5 to be honest and functioning all the time. And the idea results from a construction called BitVM. It's like verifying proofs on Bitcoin script. This is a very new idea. I think it was started from almost 2 years ago. And we and some other teams have been working on this for for the introduction of the idea, essentially. And using this verification idea, we can do much secure bridges. And with this much secure bridges, you can move your funds from Bitcoin to other chains. And it's been built by a collaboration of some companies in the space, too. And what does that mean, even? Okay, so this is the problem. What does 1 of n mean? What does trust minimize mean? What does best mean? Okay. So here's the thing. Let's say you have some money, okay? This is your money, and then you put it into here in the system. And then here, there's another construction of BitVM, and you put it here. So if you want to move your money around, or if you want to exit, in the ideal scenarios, what happens is you trust 3 people out of 5 in the current constructions. And in here, in our bridge design, you trust only 1 out of n. So if you check it here, if, let's say, 3 people here dies, then your money is stuck because the money cannot be moved. And this is a big what if because, 3 people dead or 3 people got hacked by North Koreans, your money is stolen, essentially, and you're done. We need something better than this, and this can happen. And with the BitVM-based ZK bridges, we can do this one. As long as one is honest, then the funds are secure. They cannot be stolen. This is a massive improvement because the malicious actors are going crazy, the bugs are going crazy, we're trying to limit the damage. And for the first time in the Bitcoin history, this is now possible. We can do constructions like this. And again, no matter what happens to the remaining n-1, you only need this honest guy. And yeah, we did this one too. So it's also functional on Bitcoin testnet 4. It's called Clementine, our bridge design. These are our cryptographers in the team. I'm not that smart, so my name is not here. And the way it works is the code on the left is a snark verifier, and then you divide it into chunks, and then if something goes wrong, you basically prove or disprove it on Bitcoin. And this is the end result that you get, which is nice blocks with a bunch of fees that you pay, but it is the trade-off for the security. You now get a more secure asset on Bitcoin. This is how it looks like on the diagram, which even I get confused. So I will do a better version of this explanation. It's this one. So to use these kind of constructions, what happens is, if you have 10 BTC, let's say, you give your money into 10 BTC and of a multisig, and then when you want to get out, one of these N, again, pays you, and then they get it back later with ZK proofs. This is the construction. And this is the best one we could do until now. But I think very soon we will announce maybe a better version. I don't know, we will see it. But the whole idea is, again, the whole idea is to improve this one. This sucks. And the people here also get bought too. Like, there are some shady actors in Asia, which again, I will not name names, but they have influence here. And this actually is in danger in some setups. We try to do a much better version. And this is the best theoretical construction we could do and people can do for now. Yeah, so, and all of these are now possible on Bitcoin today, but what about the future, right? I told you, like in the beginning of the presentation, changing Bitcoin is very problematic, but there are some discussions going on what to do. There are some new upgrade ideas to Bitcoin. I think we may get the first one, not the second and third one, because it's very hard to convince people. Everyone is fighting and shouting each other, which sucks kind of. I say to people like, this is a great idea, OPCAT is super cool, OpsZKP is super cool, and then what Bitcoiners say is, oh, you shitcoiners, you go away, I don't want you. I don't know, it's a permissionless chain. I don't need to ask you what I want to do, and I do something very technical for the future, so I don't care about it. Yeah, so my guesses are, I think the rollups will be very useful. We try to go to mainnet hopefully within this year and much sooner than what you expect, maybe in a couple of months. And when we go live, the miners will get richer and the fees will increase. So it will be fun to see the amount of reaction we see going to Bitcoiners. And we are trying to make it even more fun through our incubation program called Origins. It's so we can do all this crazy Rube Goldberg machines that I showed you here. But if no one uses it, and if it's not useful, then it's literally not useful. We're just going to implement things and then it will die on its own. So we don't want this. We want users as everyone. So the construction we have, because of this, is we try to do this through the Origins. It's like we incubate visionary founders and developers. We help them pretty much what they do in terms of, strategies, ideas, constructions, implementations. We try to do one-on-one with them, but they need to be as visionary and as ambitious as we are. We have some examples of it today. One of them is Tanari, which you will see the founder, Philip, in the next presentation after me. I also wear their t-shirt because why not? It's a kind of cool feature. Tanari is our a very cool self-custodial platform. It's like today's Bitcoin UX sucks. And with Tanari, we aim to improve this by at least 10x. You will be able to use Bitcoin in any way you want, including sending, receiving payments, integrated lending borrowing protocols, Bitcoin-backed stablecoins even, which is Nectra, are one of our primary projects as well. And we also incubate a DEX, which is called Satsuma. And you can check them. It's like I kind of put them as examples. We have more coming up. We also have Crest, for example. And, but the whole point is, without these applications, without these Bitcoin-first applications, all of this innovation cannot be cannot be successful. So the idea is, we were lucky to have people as ambitious as us, and we try to support them, and we try to work together on that end. And yeah, all of these discussions will be fun until the quantum computers come, because the moment quantum computers come, then Satoshi's coins will be vulnerable, and then they will be spendable, and it will bring some fun discussions among everywhere. Because if someone spends them, what are you going to do? Yeah, every day looks like this for me, and I hope the presentation didn't look like this for you. If it did, please catch up with me on the exit, like we can talk after Philip's presentation, obviously. Thank you. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, one question I can take, I hope. I hope it was that informative and fun that there's no questions, but it's also possibly it was too boring or complex, I don't know, but I did my best. Also, feedback, this one is broken a bit. Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much then, and I hope you enjoy for the rest of the event.